The Nigerian schoolgirls released by kidnappers this week have now been reunited with their families and are back home. The girls had been in government care in the northern Zamfara State, receiving medical checks following their captivity. Now, while news of the girls' abduction grabbed international headlines, many more kidnappings happen very often in northern and central parts of Nigeria. Armed gangs take people hostage and demand money for their release. Our DW correspondent Fred Muvunyi was in Zamfara reporting on the kidnapping and subsequent release of the schoolgirls. Then, in neighbouring Sokoto State, he came across the story of a painful family tragedy. And Fred joins me now to tell us more about that story. He is back in Lagos. Hi, Fred, it's good to see you. Tell us about the family that you met in Sokoto State.
Christine, as we are covering a story of kidnapping of schoolgirls in Zamfara State, we heard about another story in Sokoto State where gunmen attacked a community. And there we met this man whom was trying, he was first of all mourning the death of his son, and also he told us that his brother was kidnapped. Unfortunately, the day later, after we interviewed him, he was killed. Here is the story. An entire community is grieving. More than a dozen people were murdered. Juma's son was murdered. His brother too was killed. The killers also took hostages. They came around 2:30 a.m. and took my young brother. God gave the people in the community the courage to pursue them, and they started shooting sporadically and shot 10 people dead. After I spoke to Juma, gunmen killed him the next day. He had pursued them to secure the release of his abducted brother. Both were killed. Gunmen causing mayhem in the north claim they feel marginalized and left out by the government. Journalist Shani Shuaibu recently was granted a rare access to the bandits' hideout.
They said their children are not being employed. They don't go to school and everything. Then I asked him, are you guys educated? Because government offer employment to graduates now. Are you? He said, that's the problem what we are taking. We are not educated.
Kidnapping is highly profitable for criminal and jihadi groups in northern Nigeria. The targets are poor villagers and ordinary school children. It's the second time in 1 month these people meet like this to mourn their loved ones. And each time it's because the bandits attacked this community and killed more than 20 people. Residents blame the government for its failure to protect them. Security expert Rabiu Adam calls for dialogue to lead to peacefully disarming the bandits. But if that approach should fail,
use maximum force to fight them. Use the maximum. I'm talking of the concentration forces with equipment, modern equipment, to fight these people. That's the best way to do it.
Back in Amarawa village, before Juma was killed, he made his wish clear. I pray for the government officials to protect the interests of the people, for God's sake. Hopefully, Juma's prayer will one day be heard. Unfortunately, if ever his community does finally have peace, it will be too late for him.
Fred, obviously a very difficult story there, but just how widespread are kidnappings in Nigeria?
Yeah, it's very common and it's outspread the whole country, not only in the north, but even some parts of south. It's happening. It's just that most of the times these stories, they don't even make it to international news, even local news. Sometimes they don't cover. But of course, like this example of this man that we have just told you, this is a story. These are just rare stories that never get on the news, but it's very, it's across the country, unfortunately. And sometimes when you're in the north, in that northern part of the country of Nigeria, it's very unsafe, and people always complain that the government has abandoned them.
Yeah, Fred, on that note, we heard people in your report express that sentiment that they feel that the government failed to secure the country. When you were in the region, of course, you know, headlines have come out of that region in terms of mass kidnappings by the extremists and the so-called bandits. Did you get the sense that there was lawlessness? Did you feel unsafe?
Yeah, absolutely. I and my colleague, my cameraman, we were unsafe. We felt unsafe on the road from Sokoto to Zamfara State. It was clearly unsafe. We had to put on our body protection. And even ordinary people told us that these bandits come quite often and they tax them and they take money from them, they kidnap them, and the government doesn't care. It's just that when schoolgirls are kidnapped or a bigger number of people have been kidnapped, then the government takes some actions. But normally there is a sense of insecurity in this region, and you can feel it. You can feel it when you go to bed and when you're traveling around.
All right, that's DW's Fred Muvunyi, our West Africa correspondent. Thank you for your reporting, Fred.
Thank you, Christine.